Wow, you are welcome back to the platform panel. Thank you for still staying tuned to the platform today. We've been talking about the Nigerian economy, and we've had 3 packed back-to-back sessions. One first with His Excellency, the former governor of Anambra State, Governor Peter Obi. The second with the Honorable Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun. And now we just listened to His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. And I'll just come back to our panelists. I have to say we have a new panelist with us, Mr. Soji Akinyele, an economist. So let's take it one by one. Let's do ladies first. And I'll ask you to speak on the presentation given by ex-Governor Peter Obi, who talked on many things.
Yes, once again, I think we were really encouraged and challenged by Peter Obi's comments today. First, he talks about spending and government spending and all the excess cash that's being generated or being returned to Nigeria, and the urgent need to monitor how those funds are utilized by the different government agencies, especially at the state level. The second thing that struck me about his interventions was the importance of education and the need to invest in primary education because of how critical it is to national development. He compared Nigeria to other countries. He compared our economy to Fortune 500 companies or the net worth of some of the most wealthy people in the world, and talked about how little we invest in education. Yes. And if our desire is to create entrepreneurs that can compete globally, we need to make that a priority. And he expressed some concern about how important education was currently being, the level of commitment to education today. And then the third thing that struck me about his intervention was the importance of Made in Nigeria. And the need not just to pay lip service to this Made in Nigeria concept, but to wear Made in Nigeria, to buy Made in Nigeria furniture. He said, I'll ask governors in their offices, in their homes, what percentage of their furniture is made in Nigeria. And I think that is critical, because I know the federal government has said consistently that it's committed to Made in Nigeria, but we haven't seen that push to a change in behavior at the top and then trickling down all the way to the bottom in terms of where governors' children are going to school, which hospitals they utilize personally, not to talk about what they wear, what books they read, and what they eat. And I think we really need to see and hold our people accountable for what they say they do. So I was really encouraged and challenged by Peter Obi's comments, and I think a lot of us were. And I hope that those who listen today will go back and actually practice it, because if every Nigerian starts to believe in Nigerian products, we'll see a greater demand, and entrepreneurs will be happier for it.
And also, I think one of the important things was the talk about his lifestyle. He has just 2 shoes.
Yes, living by example. Living by example.
2 shoes.
Modesty allows us to save as a people.
Absolutely.
We would begin to imbibe some of this. And let's go straight into the presentation of the Minister for Finance. And you had an interview with her as well.
Yes.
What was your take on her full presentation?
I think altogether, it was a very healthy banter between herself and the governor, and she had the opportunity to defend a few points. What I like was the build-up, basically, coming from what happened. How did we get to where we are? That story is there, but it was useful for her to present the facts again. She talked about what is happening, i.e. what the government is doing now. But I think where she didn't quite get into, and perhaps that's where everybody would have loved to sit, was where are we going in terms of the forecast, for the economy. It was an opportunity for her to, if you like, sell the government message in terms of a direct, clear action to where we're going. A lot of that, they will argue, is in the economic recovery and growth plan. But I think this was an opportunity to present that and also probably even show us timelines, as to when we can get to, if you like, the promised land. Outside that, the questions I asked and which she spoke to, basically, it just shows the heart, or if you like, the mind of the average Nigerian citizen. So you want me to pay taxes, but the question is over time, and she agreed that government is a continuum. So it's not about blaming a specific government in power now. But the issue is that government has not shown us that they can judiciously use our funds in terms of development of infrastructure and everything. So that trust there's a trust deficit that needs to be built back up, and that was the question that she was actually speaking to. The other point, of course, is around the uncompetitiveness of Nigerian businesses right from the get-go, and so the issue here was, okay, look, if we're not that competitive, and we import a lot of these things from China, so how can we get these people to actually come and start doing business here, in terms of, even if it's just 30% of what we import exactly from China, and them producing it out of Nigeria. She also spoke to the issue of the fiscal incentives, that the government is putting to boost the economy. Because the argument is that, look, we're in a recession, we've accepted that the consensus may be we're moving out of it, but the quantum share of growth that is needed to move out of this recession, I mean, some have argued is almost like, a double of production capacity in the manufacturing sector. What I believe is that it's very slow. In terms of what's going on, but I mean, this is the way forward. The incentives are there, the willpower is there, and even the vice president alluded to that. But I think there's just a level of running out of patience that the Nigerians are. Exactly, everyone is tired.
Show us what you are doing.
Yes.
Well, like you said, the vice president, he did touch on a lot of those things and explaining in detail what was happening in agriculture, in technology, in education, and all of that. Premier.
I mean, like you said, the VP actually provided the most comprehensive overview of what was going on. And I dare say that much more than anyone would have expected, he was actually quite detailed and really comprehensive, running from literally touching every point and issue in there. The things that struck me as very interesting actually were how he talked about the issues that people were concerned about from a market perspective on foreign exchange. So he was quite clear about there being a planned review of the 41 banned items and the ultimate implication for the economy. He also confessed to the fact that the issues around the CBN's management of the foreign exchange situation, and it's about money, what you have there now versus what you have now, and the improvement, channeling it back into the economy to see how things can improve. Areas of improvement he highlighted, and I think it gave us all quite a bit of comfort. But there were still areas that, for me personally, leave me asking questions about whether we are looking at the statistics, the implications, and the feedback of all of those things. Things like use of intervention funds. The Minister of Finance said it, the VP said it again, and that focus on intervention funds and the use of that, one begins to worry. We've used this for so long, all right? Don't we see that perhaps it doesn't work the way we expect it to work? And if you look at things like power and accountability, how do we ensure that people get a bit more detail? But he did a good job on the whole of it.
He certainly did.
Absolutely.
He certainly did. The platform is going to round up very soon. We have our last speaker who will be coming up now, Mr. Roman Osegale. And stay tuned. Let's get to the end of this journey, but it's certainly been an interesting journey. Thank you for still watching the platform. We'll see you after the last speaker.